Hello. First off, happy Aries season. It's so nice to see you again. My name is Dove Diaz. Welcome to my space, Dove's Visions. You may not see the full vision yet. There are things one by one by one by one that are becoming tangible from starting from my mind alone. And what's going to become is what's going to become. I feel like that's been the energy lately, especially for what's going to really take place in April and even in between April to June. So I would say like May, pretty significant time. All those months are significant times, especially like from now to at least the beginning of Cancer season. This is a very interesting energy now that we're in Aries season and we're celebrating the first sign out of the 12. So technically we're in a new zodiacal year. Now that we're in that Aries of, I was going to say that energy of Aries, but then I said the Aries. So I guess we're really in that energy of listening, truly listening to yourself. We're in the last degrees of Chiron and Aries too. So I've been noticing that there are so many more people than I expected that are really figuring some shit out. And I don't mean like accountability, just accountability of whatever wrong that has been committed back then, even if it's just a wrong and I don't know, not a wrong, but like a misalignment in certain things. Even it could even be in the mindset. From time to time, especially now, I feel like we are all awakening to a clear aspect of our lives, especially since Neptune went into Aries. And first Saturn, of course, but then in Aries but then when Neptune goes into Aries, it's like we all like completely have this veil lifted, and what we are able to see at least as far as the horizon from our perception, depending on where we're all at, to whatever is around us. Whatever shifts. Whatever shifts. And whatever ideas and things you have in mind, especially that you've affirmed, or maybe that you've been on that affirmation sort of like energy, like you're choosing a different mindset, even if, let's say, you don't have that much money in the bank account as you do, even if you don't have as much things like clothes or, access to beauty, if you don't have like basic necessities or whatsoever. I gotta have to be careful saying this, but even if that's the case, it's how you talk to yourself that's the very first step, because that could be your reality, yes, but how you add. But sometimes you can add more suffering subconsciously and not really being fully aware of it in the ways that you may not immediately assume. You could say to yourself, let's say you do have little money in the bank account. And let's say it's something that you want to buy, but you, in this reality, you like currently right now in the state you're in, you can't afford it, right? You could accept that reality where you're at, but you don't have to say, I can't have it. You don't have to say, I can't have what I desire. You can rescript it as simple and as soberly, honestly, because, you want to keep things super simple. Like it could be as simple as I'll buy it later, and move on and continue to shift with life in whatever way that you must. And this is the season where we must shift with this Mars energy as much with it than against it or delaying from it. And also, I have been seeing the numbers 222, 666, and 888. So anybody resonates with those numbers, this is for you. And yeah, okay. So we're doing things a little bit differently here. Those are the downloads, actually. Instead of writing down the downloads, everything that I said were the downloads that just came through into my spirit and everything. Since this is Aries season and we are going with that I don't want to say impulsive energy is always negative, but since we're going through with that inspired spark sort of energy, those are all the downloads I've said, especially the ones I just said now. And we are going to go right ahead and get into the energies for whatever timeline that you're at right now. It could be even the timeline of April the 8th, which is what it is today. So, sorry, I'm loving this look lately. Sometimes little steps go a long way. Don't, you know, don't go against the grain. Go with the canvas. Go with like what you really, really like. Even if it's something as, it could be simple things. It could even be things that make you happy, but it's not what everyone would wear or use, but you use it because that literally is like the equivalent to you, as it is going down to one of the most beautiful islands in the world, and I don't know why I'm saying it, with like the super blue waters, and those waters at the same time are not salty and they're clean, but the water is also nice, like in temperature, and the sun is beautiful out above you, and it's that bliss that comes through, like it's the bliss that it makes you feel good. It makes you feel more of you materialized. It doesn't mean that it is all of you, because you have to also remember that we are spirit first before we are human. And I say that for everybody. You are who you are first, without this body, without this avatar, whatever contract you signed to get into the avatar you're in. Not saying that it is invalid when there are certain things that you may, whether you believe you signed up for it or not. Some things you never asked for that should never happen. That's exactly very, very valid. I feel like there's too many people in the society that are bypassing some of the most evident things in front of our eyes that I think we really need to be more conscious of. There's so much more awareness that must be heightened throughout this age. It's deeper. It's so much deeper than the issue being these phobias or these like issues of hatred. It's these issues of common sense shit. For example, daily living, the finances of daily living, the finances to support more than just daily living, but to, how do I say this? Learning different, all possible ways to work with money, but instead limiting society to like the majority of society or certain countries, like on a level, and the economy shit, the pay is shit, all that stuff. And it's like you're taught these are the only professions out there and these are the only options. I don't know why I'm speaking about this right now. I don't know why I'm speaking about clothes. I don't know why I'm speaking about like this type of thing. I think they all like come together on the same page when it comes to the fact that, sorry, excuse me. Let me just pour some water. I think as much as we are living in an era right now where it feels so limiting, we are also actually at the same time experiencing an era, at least I think we're only and have always been experiencing life. But this time, I think people are coming to realize that anything is possible with our actions, instead of choosing to believe that there is a small group of people that can determine people's lives while nobody is on their ass because they're the ones committing crimes. They're also using the tools they got to get away from those crimes. I don't know why I'm bringing that up as well, but I think we're coming to a realization and more of an awakening about how necessary it is to choose in whatever way we can, even if it's how we speak to ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves, like to to believe that this is not the only conclusion. Whatever that means for you, especially now that we're in April 8th, 2026, like you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about with everything that's going on. And that whole thing with the civilization, they could keep going with the movie that's going on in their heads as long as they want to, but it's going to get to the point where it's short-lived. There are two decks that I feel called for this time to use. I think whatever was said needed to be said, okay? And we are done with that. Now, since we're following through with our inspired action, what we are going to do is read from one of the decks I have here. And so I made the choice for two of them, actually. And so the first one is The Journey by Alison Felice, right over here. I really love this deck so much. I've shown this before, I think, from the previous readings, but this is one of my, honestly, this has to be like top my favorite deck. One of my favorite decks for sure. And this is great as well. This is the Angel Number Oracle deck by the Pulp Girls. I think I've shown this before as well, especially from the Love with Eyes Open reading with, I don't know what other reading that I used for, but anyways, oh, it looks like I was called to open this deck. See, this is the subconscious shit that I'm talking about. Like I'm just talking and I'm paying attention to the camera, but my body is doing something else that I'm not calculating right now. Like I'm showing you the decks, but I'm not, oh my God, but I'm not calculating how my body moves. Like my body is used to the repetition of opening certain decks. And I didn't even think to open that. I was going to open this deck first, but it ended up being this deck. So what we are going to do is read from this first, and it's actually pretty fitting because the card underneath is abundance. I didn't expect that, but it is actually a very good omen, especially for these times right now. And look at that, just as I split it, manifestation, okay, 888111. It's well, but especially 888 is such a prominent number. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh. One of the cards are flipped in reverse, and it's choices. Oh, shit. That's very interesting. Well, you know, it's based on the choices you make, right? And whatever you're energetically going through, this is directly about focusing on your choices and making sure, wow, this one's flipped around too. Making sure they're in alignment. I didn't expect that. Again, let's see. So absolute, what would you like the collective for this timeless reading to be aware of right now? What would you like them to be aware of right now? Okay, this one. Flip. Oh, look at that. You see that? Oh, wow. Okay. Bottom card of the deck. Alignment. Okay. 222. First card that came down, purpose, 7-7, purpose. Second card that came down, well, at first it flipped over, but then it slightly, dropped at some point. And it's authenticity, angel number 427. Okay? Angel number 427. And the last card is bonds, and that is the angel number 2020. I feel like that number is always so significant when I see this, because this really reminds me, especially since we are talking about everything we're talking about right now, especially the Chiron and Aries journey, especially the journey of what's been taking place, honestly, since 2020, especially. I know it's taken place years before, and it has been a historical pattern, especially with the circumstances that are happening around us. But this is especially since 2020 that we are at a point since that year to now, okay, whatever that point is, and whatever this now day, whatever the now is for you right now, Okay, the now for me is what's dated on my clock, April 8th. I said that date three times actually, and I realized I said 888 three times. So there's something about 888 that's significant. And I just realized abundance has the number 888 on it, which was the card on the bottom of the deck before I start shuffling. So there's something about this year that whatever is coming through since 2020. So after 6 years, since we are past March, we are entering into a time where we need to be 100% for real and in the reality, while utilizing your imagination as well. Make sure that you are in alignment, especially with the shift that is taking place. Okay. And whatever it is, it's going to make you desire to persevere, not just want to desire to persevere, to desire to make something into a reality. 1111. And that starts with being 100% honest with yourself about what you need to work with right now, like what you need to focus on that plants the seeds in your life that comes from pure heart energy. Like I don't know if this is true, but I wouldn't be surprised if the heart sends signals to the brain more than the brain sending signals to the heart, because whatever you align with, you open the gates in some sense, because alignment starts within you. You can tune that. Nobody is born with being aligned to life, and people are born not being aligned to life. Like, that's not how it works. It's we are first born into these systems that discourages us from living in our complete and deep authenticity, especially when it comes to the purpose of our lives, especially when it comes to the bonds we build through these arenas of life that we are taught as a society to enter into, or the type of idea that it has to give a solid foundation. Of course it does, but it also has to, for sure, make you feel like you're not going against yourself, but that you can persevere through it because you desire it. Okay, it could be as simple as that. Maybe it doesn't even have to be your absolute dream job. I don't know why that's coming up, but I feel like bonds and purposes of authenticity makes me think of that first thing, especially with the moon, the post new moon coming out twice. Which is around the start of when the seed's planted to the full moon of when the seed kind of activates, when the sprouting activates at its most from that time to then. But there is also a heart as well. The heart is blue. You got to make sure that your authenticity aligns with the energy of your bonds. You have to make sure, because if your authenticity, I feel like for a lot of you, are tied to your purpose and what you're planning to do, even if whatever you're getting into first is not deeply as aligned with your purpose. Even though you can assume and choose and pray, even whatever your version of that is, it's aligned to like everything that you desire, that everything that you need at the very least. It's aligned to everything that you need. The bonds that you also get into when you open up to yourself to and expanding your authenticity through what you do, of course, you're going to come across people. You might even work with people, and they have to be aligned, because there could be this entire shift going on with this world right now But the last thing you want to do is, while there are those shifts, that you want to make sure that your heart feels light and that you don't feel like you are, again, like what I mentioned in the first read part of the reading, like creating more suffering than you should ever feel, right? Than you should ever, because maybe it is a suffering. There is that feeling, but how much you add onto it really, really matters. And the Uranus and Gemini energy, the chicken, it doesn't matter. You, at the end of the day, we are all made in the image of God. And we are all made in the imagination of God. And we all have imaginations that are, and especially as a part of our souls, that are one of the many spectrums of other people's imaginations in the world that make up entirely who we talk about always since many, many years ago. That is God. Okay. And it interweaves through all of life, not just us, but through everybody, everything. And the indigenous has got it on point. And I don't mean I mean the indigenous from every part of the world. You know, before the lines were drawn on the sand or on the ground. From starting the mind, right? And speaking of alignment, guess what card is underneath this deck? It's alignment. And it has the same crescent, the waxing moon. It has the same moon as it showed with authenticity and purpose. So I feel like a lot of us are aligned with authenticity and purpose lately, but I feel like a lot of people, especially as of lately, and understandably so, are not aligned with other people. Yeah, it's nature just came through. Even nature itself is just not aligning with the energy of like what's going on with the way everything is running in our, world, in our reality, the circumstances that try, but you don't have to believe that it's in the way of the you that you choose to define yourself as. That is the future you, but you choose to define yourself as the you. Anyways, the point is that the bonds, there's any type of bond. It could be a bond with things you love to do, but it's more like people because of the hearts that are there. Or maybe not. Maybe it's the bond with social media, and, maybe it's the bond with staying in the home. Or maybe it's the bond with being too much outside and escaping from being one with yourself, alone with yourself. Maybe there are certain bonds you got to break, even people. Oh, and there's some people or bonds that should continue to keep in touch with because they do help you and they are good for you. And I get it. I totally get it. And especially now in these times, like this is the time where we have to be really straightforward with redefining the way humans bond with each other. That's exactly it. I feel like there needs to be a redefining and realignment of the way people bond with each other. And I'm not talking about bonding in person versus online. That's a part of the surface. That's not even the surface. Yeah, it's one of those things, but it's not really as deep as it really is, such as the communication itself. It's not as deep as what you communicate with others. It's deeper. It's as deep as what others communicate to you, who they follow, even the things they don't say, but that say a lot. The things that people say a lot, but their actions say a lot more. Like you got to make sure that it is, these bonds are aligned with your truth and your reality that you choose to be in, whatever this best version of your reality is. Because if it's not, then it's not it. Oop, and there's a card that came out. So and another one. So let's see what the bottom card of the deck is. Girl, this is not a fucking joke. Abundance. Abundance is at the bottom of the deck. There's something about the energy of 888s and money and abundance, because this is like this is the fourth, fifth, sixth time, honestly. I think it's the sixth time that I've gotten that confirmation. Okay. So this is what I've exactly been talking about. So the first card that came through is step by step. Okay. There's this foot, and somebody, I assume it's a man, but it doesn't have to be a man. It could be a woman as well. Walking on this checkered sort of floor. The same skies as the abundance card. And let's see the next card, the whisper. Ooh, step by step. Okay, that exactly confirms everything that I was just talking about. So let me just show you the cards first. There's something about the energy of abundance and the energy of going through the motions step by step by listening to your gut. It's one thing to listen to what you need to listen to from different sources. It's a whole other thing to listen to what is within you. The tune, the things, the whatever guidance that you feel called to take direction from. And it's not out of impulse, it's out of inspiration. That's going to be the way you could tell the difference. But there's something about this season that with listening, and especially with the whisper card showing up here, and this lady wearing this very, very similar earring, the same design that is behind the world in the abundance card, the same world that is showing Greenland, that is showing Canada, the United States, that's showing the Middle East, that's showing Europe, and a part of Russia. But anyways, it's interesting though how the symbol is the same from the whisper card, where it's like an earring in a person's ear, and it's behind this globe. It's like reflective of the guidance that spirit wants to give you, and making sure that you tune into and make sure you catch that, because it is in connection to what's going on with the world right now, and it has to do with your abundance. And don't be scared, okay? Like, this isn't make sure you don't take this advice out of fear. It did show to keep going. And again, it shows a world, but it shows a pathway, the checkered board floor that's similar to the step-by-step card. And it has a destination marked. And this destination is marked for all of us depending on what we choose to keep going with. That's why the heightened awareness is so important. There is so much limiting beliefs that, like, after finding out so much truth from the world around us, that things are going to change. The reality, I mean, it's not just a tangible and the physical or something that we can see that's changing and that's going to become a part of the new world. A part of the new world is also going to be people's minds changing. And I think it has to do with abundance here. I feel like the energy of that is heightened and important for all of us to be aware of, whether it be in this timeline or in a timeline that's further in the future. It does show food in the abundance card. It does show food, like produce and everything. I think for any of you who feel called to garden, and I don't mean like garden one specific thing, like you want to have like a array of options of like certain fruits or vegetables or something like that, go right ahead. If you feel called to stock up, follow that whisper, because you might completely be right to do that. And I'm not just talking about, because this recession thing whatsoever. I'm not talking about that. I mean, there could be another opportunity that comes up that may not be that, but it could be something else, where you're realizing, holy shit, I set up myself for this moment, because there's something about that moment that happens that if I didn't invest in stocking up, that portal will not open for me and anybody else to come through, whatever that is that you're going step by step with and into. And that's already happening, depending on your choice and depending on how you tune into the world every single fucking day, and even tune in with yourself every single fucking day. And so, but yeah, there's this importance of how you move in your day-to-day life and what you listen to and how you take in information and where you take in information from. But also there's an importance of listening, very huge importance on listening. And it's not just personally. I say it's more externally around us. Hopefully this helps somebody. And oh my God, I just cut the deck in half again. And literally the alignment card is under the deck again. So the themes really are strictly alignment and abundance. There is this ask for people, whoever you are that's watching this, to really, I feel called to say this too before this ends. There are limitless options to be well off in life. And at times people think, oh, it's just purely money, right? It's also the people or the people and the connections you build, not in an opportunistic intention as well, not with an opportunistic intention, but with the intention to see people in the same frequency, vibration as you. You'll never really know or realize that you're connected to the same people that could really help you in other ways too, that you may not have even realized that they can. There are so many limitless options out there that you might not even realize are there. If you feel called to buy a lottery ticket because abundance came out a lot, go for it. Get it as if you fucking want it, as if you got the ticket already. You're buying. Sometimes there's like connecting with your neighbor. And that's a huge focus, apparently, for not just this season, but what's going to pretty much show what it really is on Cancer season, especially the end of Gemini season from this month to June. It's going to be the rest of the Pluto cycle, the rest of the Saturn cycle, the rest of the Neptune cycle that we're in right now, in whatever signs they are in right now for the long term, but especially for Saturn going around the entire zodiacal wheel. Whatever it is that connects the dots for you, that also inspired that spark in your mind's eye or your imagination, or the thoughts that come in. I guess thoughts would be better. You will know what it is. And if it's not now, it's going to be in a couple of days, and when you listen to this again. And when you know what it is, go by the step-by-step direction that way, whatever that is for you. Because that's going to be very relevant to abundance. And that's going to be relevant for the new world. We are in it right now already. And it's not just the wars that are happening right now. Believe me, really, it's not just that. It depends on where you choose to take that step and whether you're going to listen to your thoughts that come through that align with where you should go, or whether you ignore that and you choose to not listen to yourself at the very least. Thank you so much for listening to my reading. It is a huge honor that you are here and you watched this and you clicked on this video and you listened to everything. I really appreciate it, genuinely. Have yourself a great Aries season. Have yourself a great Mercurial day. And since it is Wednesday today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.